but still women aren't going to make it. That's what you're really saying.
It depends on your measurement techniques. They're doing just fine in medicine. In fact, there are far more female physicians than there are male physicians. Well, I made the argument there. It's like it depends on
so
who
you don't
defines
believe
it.
in equal pay?
No, I'm not saying that at all.
Because a lot of people listening to you will just say, I mean, are we going back to the dark ages?
That's because they're actually not listening. They're
I'm
just
listening very
projecting
carefully,
what
and
they
I'm
think.
hearing you basically saying women need to just accept they're never going to make it on equal terms. Equal outcomes is how you defined it.
No, I didn't
say that. If I was a young woman watching that, I would go, well, I might as well just go and play with my Cindy dolls and give up trying at school because I'm not going to get the top job I want because there's someone sitting there saying it's not possible and it's not desirable, it's going to make you miserable.
Desirable. That's what I said. It's a bad social goal. I didn't say that women shouldn't be striving for the top or anything like that, because I don't believe that for a second.
Striving for the top, but you're going to put all those hurdles in their way, as has been in their way for centuries, and that's fine. You're saying that's fine.
All right, so we've all probably seen the video of Jordan Peterson and Cathy Newman by now. That video has been dissected over and over, so I won't do that, but I wanted to bring this up as it relates to nearly every argument I've ever had about the merits of libertarianism. Because what Cathy Newman has done here is exactly what I've heard nearly everyone do when arguing against libertarianism, and that is basically construct an entire field filled with strawmen. For example, if you say you're against the war on drugs and want drugs legalized, a straw man is immediately constructed, and you are accused of thinking that all drugs are perfectly fine to use or healthy, and that you are totally comfortable with every street being filled with junkies. Of course, this isn't true. We just don't want to see people thrown into cages or killed for a possibly tragic personal choice. We recognize that arresting and killing people who use or sell drugs voluntarily does not solve any problems, and in fact makes the situation worse. This is all ignored, however, and people do exactly what Cathy Newman did here and try to put words in your mouth. Another example, if you say you're against the welfare state and the war on poverty, they will immediately accuse you of hating the poor, and they will claim that your beliefs will end up with children starving and dying in the streets, and then they will mockingly ask you if you'd be okay with that. Again, they have to use a straw man because no libertarian wants that. We just recognize that welfare and the war on poverty has made the situation worse, and before we had the war on poverty, things were getting better. But again, they have to mischaracterize your argument because they cannot stand in front of real points you might be making. Or let's say you claim to be against the large amount of taxes and regulations we have in the US. You're immediately painted as someone who wouldn't care if some rich corporation starts putting paint chips in soup cans or dumps used oil on everyone's lawn. Again, these are clearly transgressions and violations of private property and the property of the self, something libertarians believe to a core. But as a libertarian, you could go on all day about how you are not advocating that, but the people I've argued with incessantly want to fill that straw man with as much straw as possible in order to make the arguments you didn't make easier to refute. Anyway, while I was watching this interview of Jordan Peterson with Cathy Newman, I felt a bit of kinship with Peterson, despite the fact that I don't agree with him 100% on everything, but I did find myself often saying, man, I've been there before, having people not listen to any nuance or any detail in my argument, and then they just paint their own picture of my argument with large brush strokes. So anyway, I somewhat take this as a compliment when it does happen, because those who have to intentionally misrepresent and distort what you are saying seems to indicate that they have no real rebuttal of any value, and that's when you know you might be onto something. Thanks, and that's all.